Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before starting this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Now let's start this video. Asia, the law of the sea and international reation. The end of Cold War and doubts about the longevity of the US security commitment in East Asia have raised the potential for both the conflict and new cooperation in the region. Given the salience of maritime issues, the relation amongst the states of the region, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, finalized in 1982 and in force since 1994, is of considerable potential significance. In fostering an orderly approach to areas of tension and avoiding open conflict, especially since China ratified the convention in July 1996. However, as the United States and Russia remain among the non-ratifiers, many uncertainties remain as to its effect and utility in the East Asia arena. This article examines the current state of relation among the main national players in the region and the disputes outstanding among them and assesses the potential for both conflict and cooperation. In July 1996, China ratified the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, joining in Asia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Korea, and Japan. The convention came into force on 16 November 1994, and 112 countries have now ratified it. However, key maritime powers such as the United States, United Kingdom, and Russia have not ratified the convention and may not do so. The agreement, reached after more than 20 years of sometimes acrimonious negotiations among virtually all of the world's nations, embodies most international law and state practice relating to the oceans. As the most ambitious treaty-making effort by the world community to date, the 1962 Convention, taken as a whole, conveys hope that a stable world order and universal peace are possible. Such goals are in most nations' best interest, but they would particularly benefit developing stability to allow their economies to develop and their people to prosper. However, some provisions of the treaty may lead to disagreement and even conflict. For example, those which entitle coastal states to extend their jurisdiction of research and certain activities out as much as 350 nautical miles from their coast. These provisions have raised enormous expectation among developing nations regarding the research and Lebensraum to be gained. Sovereignty disputes over remote islands have taken on a new significance because such features may be used to claim research in vast ocean areas. Implementation of the Convention provisions, including enforcement of this new jurisdiction, will be undertaken in the context of the current political milieu, which is already damaged by burgeoning nationalism. Thus, the impact of the Law of the Sea Convention on international relations must be considered within the current geopolitical context. Jurisdictional claims permitted by the Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Convention entitles every country with a coastline to claim a 12 nautical miles territorial sea measured from baseline line through along the general direction of the coast following the convention rules. And then a further 12 nautical miles contiguous zone in which nations can prevent and punish infringement of their custom, fiscal, immigration, or sanitary laws and regulation within their territory or territorial sea. A continental shelf, the seabed and subsoil of the submarine areas that extend beyond the territorial sea throughout the natural prolongation of a country's land territory to a maximum of 350 nautical miles or out to 200 nautical miles from baseline, whichever is farther. An exclusive economic zone (EEZ) extended 200 nautical miles from baselines and in which states have sovereign rights over research and all related activities, as well as jurisdiction over artificial structures, marine scientific research, and protection and preservation of the marine environment. The geopolitical setting. Post-Cold War, South Asia is in a state of geopolitical flux. Despite US President Clinton's recent reassurances, there is still a widespread perception in the region that United States will focus more on domestic and European problems, inevitably diminishing its military role in South Asia and eroding the present Pac Americana in the Pacific. Indeed, there is a growing feeling that in the longer term, in the United States cannot be relied upon as a guarantor of regional stability, and that without its presence, states will be less restrained in asserting themselves and in particular in enforcing their island and maritime claims. Further, US relations with both China and Japan are unstable, and there is apprehension in South Asia that one or both might eventually replace the United States as the dominant power in the region. China's longer-term intentions are of particular concern. Nevertheless, for the first time in a generation, Southeast Asia now has an opportunity to build a lasting peace. In partial response to the post-Cold War climate, the Association of South Asian Nations of ASEAN, or ASEAN, has begun to consider security cooperations. Indonesia is attempting to assert some leadership in Southeast Asia, including the settlement of maritime disputes, and Vietnam, isolated and vulnerable, has embraced ASEAN. The end of the Cold War, the muting of the Cambodian conflict, and the ever-close relationship between Vietnam and its fellow ASEAN members, as well as its tentative rapprochement with China, have set the stage for a positive regional security relationship. But historical mistrust, competing maritime claims, and increasing military spending may combine to weaken the prospect of success for regional multilateral security structures. Northeast Asia has long been a security complex involving Russia, China, Japan, and the United States. During the Cold War, international relations in the region were heavily influenced by the Soviet-US dynamic and were thus almost indistinguishable from the global system. However, with the end of the Cold War, the layering of conflict involving outside power is peeling away to reveal an emerging Asia-Pacific system. The future central dynamic of the system is likely to depend on relations among the Northeast Asia countries themselves. In the past century, these relations have been characterized by cyclical pattern of amity and enmity, frequent tension between the strongest power in the region, and resultant attempts to force alliance with the lesser power. Moreover, Northeast Asia countries have generally operated on the basis of worst-case scenarios. The larger power were motivated by fear of being isolated by the other larger power, and the lesser power most feared the hegemonic alliance of the strongest power. Intra-regional conflict has tended to be located along the boundaries between the major powers, the Korean Peninsula, Taiwan, Manchuria, Mongolia, and Sakhalin or the Kuril Island. In this period, the seas between these powers formed a particularly dangerous frontier. However, we may now be witnessing a transformation of the political system in the region. A survival has ceased to be the prime concern of the powerful states. Their quest for relative gains has become less driven and consistent. Okay everyone, that's all the article today. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Until the next one, bye bye.